Is STDcheck.com legitimate? Well, it's not a scam in that it is a great company that's been around for a long time. It is not, however, going to test you for the STIs that you think it's going to based upon what is on their landing page. It is critically important to your health that you understand what I'm going to tell you in this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So STDcheck.com is not a scam, but they are missing these two things. And because of this, it's going to miss many, if not most cases of gonorrhea and chlamydia. I know it says on their landing page that they check for gonorrhea and chlamydia, but guys, you have to understand this. Do not leave this video until you understand this subject completely. This will help you the rest of your life. This is an anal swab, and this is an oral swab. You see, gonorrhea and chlamydia are site-specific bacterial infections. You can have it in your genitals, which is what STDcheck.com checks. You can also have it in your throat if you have oral sex, makeout sessions, etc., or have it in your anus as well. Statistics show that even people who deny a history of anal sex can have things like anal chlamydia. These infections are kind of weird. But the important thing is that if you're only checking the genitals, like STDcheck.com, and you do not have oral swabs and anal swabs, again, like STDcheck.com, then you're going to miss many, if not most, cases of gonorrhea and chlamydia. And that happened to me, as a matter of fact. I tested negative on a genital-only STI test, but I not only had gonorrhea orally, but I was spreading it. Let's look at the research. All right, now when I say that a test that misses anal swabs and oral swabs is going to miss most cases of gonorrhea, I hope you don't think that is an exaggeration. Let's take a look at this first study by ASIF. The genital positivity rate in this group of people in the study was 2.7%. Oral was 5.63%, basically double. Keep that in mind. It's always going to be very close to double. In the Kent study, the genital was 6.0% and oral was 9.2%. In the Kalis study, genital was 0.73% and oral was 1.48%. Now, in the Mensa study, it's a little bit different. It's per people years, per 100 people years, but genital was 1.7 and oral was 2.7. And in this study of 45 million gonorrhea and chlamydia tests in the United States, only 1.5% of women received a throat swab test, but of those 1.5% of women, they were twice as likely to have oral gonorrhea as genital. Wash, rinse, and repeat. I cannot find a study that refutes these numbers. This is all of the studies that I can find on asymptomatic screening. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. STDcheck.com is a great company, but they don't have this. And after my experience of testing negative, when I in fact had gonorrhea and then spread it, because I was not aware of this issue, I started my own telehealth company. And out of our past 1,000 patients, 86% of our positive gonorrhea cases have been oral only. And every single one of those people would have tested negative and been given a gonorrhea-free test result if we only tested the genitals. So this problem is even worse than I imagined. Now, we've pretty much only talked about gonorrhea so far. If I was to tell you about chlamydia, and in particular anal chlamydia, it would blow your mind. So I cannot emphasize this enough. A test without these two things is simply not going to tell you your gonorrhea and chlamydia status in any sort of meaningful way. And now that you know this, if you decide to go ahead and get tested without these anyway, well, at least you know, which is all that's important to me to begin with. You can't make an educated decision about something if it's not explained to you. So I'm explaining it to you. Something else I'm going to explain to you is that after you add that 10-panel test to your cart, You're going to be asked if you would like to upgrade, pay more to be tested for Mycoplasma genitalium and Trichomonas. Now, you should absolutely, if you're going to order this 10-panel test without this, I think it is a must that you add those two things to your cart, because at our testing company, if you exclude herpes simplex virus, the top 3 things that people test positive for are oral gonorrhea, which is not possible at all with stdcheck.com, but also Trichomonas and Mycoplasma genitalium. And so if you get that 10-panel test without Mycoplasma and Trichomonas, well, you very well may get a negative test result, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have an STI. Those are 2 really important assays, all right? The last thing I need to tell you about is that they have chosen to charge people $95 if you test positive for something and if you need the services of a physician. And we have decided to just include the services of a physician in every single testing panel. And I'm glad that we made that decision at Shameless Care for this reason. When somebody tests positive for something, it is never an easy day in their life. And some infections are relatively straightforward. Let's say you have chlamydia. Well, that's 7 days of doxycycline. It's not a big deal. Feels like a big deal, not a big deal. Virtually anybody can take care of that if you went to a CVS nurse or something like that. Probably no problem, assuming he or she trusts the test results and takes them at face value. But if you have something like hepatitis B, I think you need an actual board-certified physician who's not charging you money that was included in the services to go ahead and have that conversation with you about vaccination and titers and all the things that are really going to be important to understanding what's going on in your health and advising you for what's happening next. And so at our testing company, we include all the things that we've talked about, including complementary treatment for things that are easily treatable by antibiotics. So for example, if you have Mycoplasma genitalium or chlamydia, etc., the treatment is automatically sent to your pharmacy of choice that you chose when you ordered the test to begin with. So I just want to reiterate, guys, I am doing this out of love because something really bad and completely unnecessary happened to me because I didn't know about this. And my goal is that companies either add these or tell you they don't have them. I think it is well past time in 2026 that we just sell STI tests without these, because these cost money. Let's face it. You not just have one gonorrhea and chlamydia test. You have 2, you have 3. That's not cheap. We tell patients about this, whether we have it or we don't, every single time. I think is critically important and long past time that we all figure out how to do that. We have AI now. We can figure out great ways to educate patients with awesome copy that helps to educate them. And speaking of educating people, we release a new video every single week. My name is Robert. I founded Shameless Care because I didn't get one of these, and I'm still kind of pissed off about it. We'll talk soon.